Welcome to the Wingley Update, name to be decided. Forget everything you know about programming language for the cloud. Now, welcome your host, Yal Keren.
And welcome to the Wingley Update, name TBD. Oh, yeah. Okay. It starts again. Everybody told me what's going on with my mic.
Sorry, I have a hunchback. I love to walk at your place.
Well, I wouldn't get used to it.
Okay.
Yes. We're back.
It's almost happened right now that we drop Wilson. Welcome to the Wingley Update, name TBD. We have Revital here with us. How are you doing, Revital?
I'm good, Eyal. How are you?
I'm good. I'm catching my breath. It's an intimidating moment, that countdown. I have to admit.
It's the second show.
Yeah, it's the second show. Yeah.
How did the last one go?
The last one was it was people. I mean, people reacted.
You're famous now, Eyal.
Not as.
I'm honored to be here with you.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more fame. I have to admit, it's not. I mean, most of the things I got was there was a problem with the sound, and the second thing I got was, well, Elad is so natural with this, and so I kind of feel like Elad kind of took my my spotlight, but I'm going to deal with this tonight. We're going to see a very small amount of him today.
Love it.
So you're here with us. We're going to talk
I'm
about
here.
the community, of course. And so what do you have for us?
So I have a few updates. In the last show, you mentioned that we have a list of good first issues to start with.
Right.
So I'm going to take it one step forward. And I've decided that every week I'll publish one or two good first issues. So people can ramp up very fast and basically understand how the abstraction works.
So you're publishing it where? On Slack?
Yes, in the announcement channel.
So so you're basically what, picking out of the good first
I'm
issues?
cherry picking. I'm basically looking for those issues that you don't need a lot of ramp up and you can feel that you're influencing very fast.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah.
And how did it went?
It went very well. I've published the first one. It was simulating queue timeout last week, I think. And within less than an hour, Jacob Peterly assigned it to himself. And he's working on it right now.
Got it.
Yeah. Yes, I love it. I'll proceed. So I was super motivated by that. I've decided that I'm gonna post another good first issue. This time it was the Q.purge.
Got it. The Q.purge.
And within the same day, another community member assigned it to himself.
Who's that? Who's that lucky community member?
It was me.
With you.
It was me, and I have to say, I think it was a good choice. I think that extending resources and extending APIs is a very good way to ramp up very fast, because you write a little bit code in the simulator area, in the console area, and then a little bit code in the AWS cloud provider, because this is what we currently have. And then you really understand how it works behind the scenes. You see the abstraction, you write some tests. I even opened an issue about the tests because I was not able to test it.
Yeah, we're halfly tested, I would say. And if you look at the glass half full, it's we're very limited tested. We just had a talk today about maybe dedicating a sprint for testing.
Yeah.
But going back to you,
I think we should do that.
Going back to you.
So it was really nice experience.
So the big news here is that the queen of Wingnuts, Revital Barretz, our one and only, has contributed to the SDK.
Almost. I'm almost there.
Almost there.
I need to run some tests.
Got
and
it.
then.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and I want to call out a few more names of community members who contributed in the last few weeks. I want to call out Margio. He is very, very active. He implemented the pick method in the counter.
Got it.
So he did a very great job, and I'm positive that as we speak, he keeps sending us pull requests and Slack messages and very cool ideas.
Great.
By the way, he proposed a cool name for the show. Maybe you can call out that we're looking for a new name.
I'm not saying
For
I'm
this
looking
weird
for new
show?
names. I'm hearing complaints about the names. I'm not saying I'm looking for new names, but
So maybe this is an opportunity.
yeah,
right?
maybe you can open a ticket. You want to open a ticket? I can open a ticket for while we're doing this.
I
New
think it's a
name
great
for the show?
idea.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So while you're talking, I'm going to open a ticket. You don't even need to show this, but actually you can. Who cares?
And it's Marcio who motivated us to do that. So
Great.
thank you, Marcio.
Great. So I'm going to open an issue. New issue. Enhancement, is it a bug report? Is it a discussion? I think it's a discussion.
It's a discussion,
Okay.
and I'll publish the link later on.
New name for the Wingley update. Name TBD.
TBD.
Okay.
Awesome.
Let's do like this. Great. What category is this? Is discussion. Ideas.
Ideas. Love it. Awesome.
Yeah. So
We can
I'm gonna
post it
finish-
later.
I'm going to finish this later. Great.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move back. Awesome. Few more names.
Awesome.
So we have Yamatatsu, who fixed some broken links in the Wingling Docs area. He fixed the scope name of the GitHub token and
Got it.
few
And
more things.
we have was it purple, right?
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
For kind of not his first issue fixed, and then we have Eric, and which was helping us in the docs and things like that, right? I mean,
Yes, and it's really nice because not all of those issues we open them ourselves.
Got it.
It's basically the community sees that there are some typos, inconsistency
yeah,
because
Eric was about the simulator. I remember that. The
exactly
simulator going back.
exactly.
Yeah,
we enhanced the sample, but we forgot to update
Yep.
the code.
I think I enhanced the sample. That's why I kind of. That's
I didn't want to call out
Okay,
her
okay,
name, but
okay.
yeah. We also have Joshua Dando. He added the all contributions flag.
Okay.
We have
that's nice.
John R. Durand. He also just found some typos and decided to fix them.
Yeah, and then we have Anna. How do you say? Do you know?
Anantu.
Anantu. You talked to him, right?
Yeah, I talked to him. I talked to a few members. Thank you for spending some time with me. Anantu fixed some few issues and he became pretty active.
Yep. He even
In
joined,
the last 2 weeks.
He even joined our community meeting.
Yeah.
Right? That was last week, I think.
It was last week.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then the last one was it Salman? Salman?
Salman Abid, yeah. He basically added the bad error when compiling a non-existing file.
Awesome.
Speaking of community meetings,
Okay.
I want to call out. Every 2 weeks, we opened our team meeting to the community. We're happy to see community members coming, contributing. Sometimes they're even suggesting some issues to be discussed. In the last one, Christian showed us how to implement the while loop within the compiler. It was super interesting. All of those sessions are recorded. I'm posting them in the announcement channel, and then I'll be posting the recording of the video.
Awesome. So kind of let's recap. We have a bunch of people contributing. We got Jacob. We got Revital, our one and only Revital contributing. I'm pronouncing the name
Yamatatsu.
Yamatatsu, Purple,
Marcio.
Eric, Marcio, Joshua, John, Anantu, sorry, and Salman. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. And if we miss someone, we will call their name next show.
Maybe we'll open another discussion. Who did we miss?
Revita will hunt you.
Yep.
Stay tuned and thank you.
Thank you, Revita, for the Queen of Wingrats with us here. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Eyal.
Before we go to Uri, who's gonna talk to us about some of the way we work and also our current sprint, we're gonna go to our one and only, our DJ, Mark.
Thanks, Eyal. So last time I played a pop song, and you might be thinking, oh, is it always going to be pop songs? Ew, gross, I hate you. First of all, relax. Second of all, no, I definitely got some different stuff. However, I've still been listening to pop last few days. So here's Chasing Shadows by Santa Gold.
Hi. Hey, Uri, how are you doing, man?
Very good. How are you, Eyal?
I'm good. So this is Uri, our director of engineering.
Thank you. I Thank you.
Thank you for joining the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Eyal, for inviting me over. I'm a huge fan of the show. I think I probably watched every single episode.
Every single episode. Nice. Are you familiar with Wilson?
Oh, yeah,
Of course.
very much familiar.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
So, what are you here to tell us, Uli?
So today I thought I'll tell you a little bit about the less explored territory of project management. And we're going to discuss how we actually work on Winglang. So we'll start with the basic. All of us know that Wing is currently in alpha.
Okay.
And we want to bring it to beta. We want to make it useful so people can build real-world applications with it.
So let's talk about this alpha versus beta. This is where we are right now. Wing is in alpha right now. It basically means that it's a very slippery slope. I mean, you have to work in a very this is what you're able to do right now. This is what's tested. The other things are probably not working, right?
That's very correct, yes.
So what is the beta kind of chasm? What's better
So
for
the
us?
gap, we identified the gap. We made sure that we understand exactly what we want to go. And we went through a thorough process of creating our language spec. You can see that on our website. On our docs website, you can see the language reference right here. And it's a full language spec that details everything that we're intending to build in order to make Wing useful for beta release.
Got it. So kind of the beta release for the language itself basically means this is something you can now use to build real-world application.
Exactly.
From the language perspective.
Exactly.
But that's not enough, right? It's not just the language perspective.
You're absolutely correct. We're also working these days on formalizing a spec for the SDK. So the SDK is being built as we speak, and we are very much welcoming your feedback. We have a pull request open for that, and you're welcome to dive in and to see some of the issues that we discussed there. This is how we actually know which way we should direct the language and the SDK in order to fulfill the use cases that are requested by the community.
Got it. So this is, and we talked about this a little bit last time with Elad. I mean, the SDK, this Bring Cloud thing, and then basically all the resources that the SDK provide. And the language itself, it's a common, for those who doesn't know, this is a kind of a general purpose language, which basically has a couple of features on top of it, so it's very familiar to all of us. I mean, the syntax is very familiar, but then it has the in-flight and the resources, which basically means kind of in-flight, this will be run somewhere else, on a Lambda function or something like that, and the other one is basically resources, something that exists outside of, even when my application is not running. It's on the cloud or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And another nice tool that we're building to complement that is the Wing console.
Got it. Okay.
Of course.
So the Wing console is our way to kind of visualize the simulator, the localhost simulator for the local host. Great. Yes. So we have the language SDK. We have the language spec, and we have the SDK spec GitHub issue. And how are you using this? How are we working basically in terms of project management?
Okay. So if you go to our repository, let's do. And we decided to use a recent feature released by GitHub, which I wholeheartedly recommend, called the projects. It's been released in the last 5 months, actually. And we have 3 different projects currently to communicate where we stand in the roadmap for Wing SDK and for the language. Let's take a look, for example, at the Wing language roadmap. And here we summarized all of the different issues that are currently part of the spec and which one are already done, and you folks are welcome to use them, which one we are currently working on, and which one we are still got to do. As you can see, by the numbers at least, we still got a lot of work to do before we are ready for beta.
So it's so you're using this project, but this is outside kind of. There's basically 3 parts of the way we kind of work. There's those long-term SDK specs, things that are those project boards. There's the kind of the continuously maintaining issues, bugs, processing them from the stream, from us and from the community. And the last one is how we work in sprints, right?
Right.
So this is the first thing. You're showing us those 3 boards, and we have the console boards also that is in the work. And then the next thing you're going to show us is basically how you kind of process information coming, right?
Exactly. What I was intending to show you now is our main project board. That's the Wing MVP board. What you can see here is that we work in sprints. That's not surprising, not super new in the industry. Before I talk about the sprints, I want to show you one of the views that we are using here. The other one, yeah. So whenever a community member or yourself or someone from our team reports a new issue, a bug, or they request for a feature, it lands in here in the needs triage view on that project board. And basically here we are able to see the different issues that we have here and provide we need to define the priority for these issues and decide basically one of 3 different next steps for them.
Got it.
If the issue is very urgent, we're going to add him to the current sprint and someone is going to pick it up right away and start working on it and add it to the language or the SDK, wherever it resides.
Yeah.
If the issue is a little less important, but still we want to have it ready for the community in the near term, then we put it into the near term backlog. You can see it over here. And if it's something that we want to get back to at a later stage, that's going into the long-term backlog.
Got it. And so it's funny enough, we had this discussion today, about that P0 that we haven't marked as P0.
Yes.
So it's kind of weird how we what makes something important, not make something not important because we're still in alpha. So we're very focused on basically allowing people to engage and onboard our project. So if there's some kind of bug in the examples, probably not a P0, you have to leave everything and fix it, but this is a high priority thing.
We would love to know about these issues first, and we take it very serious to tackle these issues as fast as we can.
Because a lot of what the product is right now is a way to get people inside the communities. So if we have a problem in our onboarding, because an example is broken, we want to know about this and fix it as if we have an SLA problem.
Exactly.
Great.
Another great opportunity for the community to come forward and to help us by letting us know what's important is not only by reporting issues, you can actually upvote issues.
Got it.
And we have a nice view where you can see exactly that a lot of the folks here are actually craving for Win Console to be supported on Linux. So that's our top issues at the moment. A lot of folks actually also want Windows.
Yep.
So we hear you, and we're going to work on that in the upcoming sprints.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then the last thing to kind of complete the puzzle is the work that we kind of as product leadership. So we meet, a lot of us meet together and we talk to the team and we try to prioritize work from what we need for the better, right? And then we basically structure this by working with milestones and sprints. And can you share this a little bit?
Of course. So one thing I'll show first is the project board for current sprint. So you can see the different issues that we are currently working on. Our current sprint is sprint number 10. So you can see which ones are still in progress. A lot of them are in done because the sprint ends tomorrow. This specific sprint. We have the next sprint in line. It was
delayed.
Ready. Well, some of it.
Okay. It doesn't end tomorrow like by chance. It was supposed to end on Thursday.
Maybe the most important thing to say about the project management is that we are still figuring
this out. Okay.
Yeah. So we're still making it happen.
Yeah.
So the one thing that really helps us lead our project in the right direction is creating a story at the beginning of each sprint to actually tell the community or tell each interested party what we are actually building, what are we going to aim for. So I'm going to pick just a few examples to make it sense for our audience. One thing that is a very memorable story was the story we used for Sprint 4, when we had the Getting Started guide that some of you have already gone through, I'm hoping. And this is how we actually formalized what we want to see as the different steps of that process.
It was a beautiful story. I remember this. I mean, this is where Elad basically set the bar. We're walking backwards. We believe, we're talking about sprints, we're talking about this is a lot of it is choreography. But we believe that you need a good story that gives the team a commitment, and I think that was a great story to kind of pick it up.
Absolutely.
I loved it. And,
Absolutely. The fact that he actually personalized the person that
Yep.
we are trying to work with. He created a persona called Mona Lisa,
Yep.
which is a 28-year-old programmer who works at a successful startup in San
Yep.
Francisco, takes a break, discovers Wing, and goes over
Yep.
the Getting Started guide
Yep.
and how she reacts to that. So that really helped. A few weeks later, when folks were actually trying that Getting Started guide,
Yep.
we already knew what they were about to go through.
Yeah, and this talks about our documentation, our compiler, our SDKs, the amount of code unit you can write, the console, basically tells that story, and then the team kind of focus on this. That's awesome. Right.
Yeah. Another great story was just a few weeks ago when we were open Wing for alpha.
Yep.
And that's the story number 6, ready for contribution.
Yep.
All of the team really worked hard to make sure that we
Yeah.
have enough tools, the chain of tools in order to support our community and to allow folks to join our Slack, to join our GitHub, have all the different tools in place.
Great. Elad, do you mind? This doesn't work for me. Do you mind? I can see them. For some reason, I can't see them.
Okay, so this brings me to the story that we are currently working on, story number 10. But maybe before that, we'll tell story number 11 because.
Yep.
Okay, one word of how we actually formalize these stories. Sometimes we set up a story that is too big for a sprint, and the team's capacity is unable to complete it in one single sprint. So instead of trying to work super hard and not succeeding, we're taking this limitation and we turn it into a strength by narrowing down the size of the deliverable and providing something that is still super useful that takes us another step towards our goal of releasing the beta.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like it's there's value in having a demoable. A demoable celebration. There's always value in work, but there's value in having. We have some relevant questions. Where is it? So I'm looking at the live tweet. I'm seeing Mike, the man live. Nothing wrong with pop songs. Thanks, and some Schoolers 92. Woot Uri.
Woot Uri. Thank you so much.
So the question Mike has, Mike the man live, curious, why are user stories mixed into the RFCs? It's a good question. We started basically just by...
It happened. It just happened.
RFC for us is kind of, I'm requesting comments from you guys. This is what it is. And this is kind of, it's very simple. I'm putting this in a pull request, give me feedback. So first of all, it's a natural place for our user stories to be. Maybe we're gonna change their folder structure sometime in the future. Any suggestions are welcome to make everything more readable. Maybe we should have it. But it's still, when I'm doing a user story, I'm requesting feedback, whoever is writing it. I'm requesting feedback from the team and the community. That's the idea. So the story of user story 10 is basically that we started from user story 11, which I can find right now. So let me go back.
Here, there it is. It is. Here.
Oh my God, we're delaying. My God. Okay,
it's okay.
Yeah. So basically...
First, I'll give just a short introduction. This guy here is not just a talk show host. He also has a small side gig that he, how many hours a day? Like half an hour or something like that?
Yeah, it's a side gig. I'm also running the pod.
You're committed to the show, but besides the show, you also have a job as a chief product officer in Monada, the company that creates Wing.
Yeah, and it's a dream. it's a dream job.
Okay.
It's a dream job. It's when I heard about the idea, I told my wife, this feels like something like a one-time train. I want to jump on the train, and this is just, we all know this is a journey. The chances, but for me, it's an incredible place to be. Writing a language is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So user story number 8 basically is a task list. We're basically creating a to-do app. And it's going to be evolving over time. So once we have API gateway, it's going to be with an API gateway. Once we have connection to IAM, it's going to be identity-led. It starts with the database as an S3 bucket. It's going to evolve into the DynamoDB, Redis, MongoDB, whatever resource will define at the moment. And we started with this user story, the task list resource, which basically kind of it's a to-do list. It was a competition between me and ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT won, but
Man against the machine.
yeah, but I still wrote my own. And basically, we said let's focus on the compiler. We want to make sure that we jump forward with the compiler. We want to invest a lot of the company resource on the compiler. And of course, there's also the console here, but the bulk of the team was working on the compiler. And we said, oh, great, let's do this in 2 weeks. I mean, can you do this in 2 weeks, Uwe?
We put our finest on
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
And we quickly figured out that there was also holidays. It's not going to fit in 2 weeks. I said, so okay, let's find another story.
They're gonna have to work on the holiday. That's what you told me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There's no chance. So we said, let's go. Let's. So this one has we have a resource here that's called the task list, and that resource I thought might have in-flight function. That I mean. Probably, and you all think, well, in-flight function on a resource, that's too much.
That calls for a refactoring.
That calls for a refactoring. You didn't tell me I'm going to have in-flight function.
In-flight and wing.
You want this to use this? I mean, so there's a lot of things that we have to do. So we kind of, I think it was a struggle. We're not religious about this. It doesn't have to do every 2 weeks. I need a story too much. I'm not going to chase but we kind of figure out after 2 weeks of work, we figure out where the team is going to converge in a good place. I said, okay, let's put a story on like this. And this is basically kind of a resource-less task list. And that's what I'm going to show you. I want to show you what your team has been doing, what our team has been doing. So are you able to see my screen? So I'm going to it's going to be a little kind of replay of what we've done with Elad. But I'm going to start with Bring Cloud.
Yes.
So I'm going to write a to-do app. It's going to have an S3 bucket as the storage and a counter as the kind of the identifier. I'm not going to run the entire code, but I'm going to start just let
to give us the feeling a little bit. Yeah.
New cloud bucket.
Okay.
Great. Let counter.
So you're going to create a counter.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
That's.
Okay, so now I've created a bucket and a counter. I have done new. That's what I've done. I've used the SDK, the clouds are basically our Wing SDK. And again, this code is going to have, this actual code is basically pre-flight code, which basically is going to compile into, in this specific account, it's going to compile into a provisioning service. We can use the playground for that probably. You want to show this?
Oh yeah,
right?
Sure.
Yeah, so let's show this.
Nice.
Playground. Here it is.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So what's going on? Can you explain what's going on here, man?
Yeah, so on the left side, we're going to see the code that Eyal just wrote. And on the right side, that's our compiler compiling that into JavaScript. So you can see the code here, for example.
Okay, and that's specific JavaScript. What's the synth for people who doesn't come from the CDK, right? So can you, yeah.
So basically, the first phase is the pre-flight, is turning the code that we have over here, the resources that are SDK resources, and provisioning them on the provisioning engine.
Basically. Yeah, basically kind of outputting the provisioning manifest or the YAML files for the. Okay, awesome, great. So this is a nice tool. I know you love it. So I have a bucket and a counter, and I'm going to create a new function. I'm going to let add task. That's going to be the function. Okay, so and I'm going to do, it's going to be a new cloud function. Now this I wanted, in the beginning I want this to be as part of the resource, but we're going to do this kind of old style, not object-oriented.
Right, so it's basically a function that allows you to add tasks. Obviously, we're going to add these tasks into the bucket. That's our storage in this case.
Yep. And I'm going to do the as here because I'm going to have a bunch of functions, and I want the kind of the provision engine to have the right resource name for those things, right? Awesome. So I'm going to do add task.
Good idea.
Great. And now I'm going to do. It's probably I should get a title. And now I'm going to do. And now I'm going to do let's do
Bucket
let
or-
value equal counter dot inc. Now I get the previous value before the increment. I got that value right now. And now I'm going to do print about to enter, to save, to add
Task.
task with title.
Nice.
Are you checking me? Are you checking me?
Yeah, that
you have to.
works.
Okay, let's do this.
That works awesome.
With ID. Is it good?
I think so.
Okay, so if not,
We'll find out soon enough.
and this like a good kind of, this is gonna return the value in a string.
Awesome.
Oh,
Almost.
okay,
Yes.
great. So this is the add task, and let's wing it. Let's wing this
Let's
thing.
wing it.
Wing, oh, no.
No. Let's.
Wing it, sprint 10. And now our console launches.
Oh,
and,
so there is a compiler.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Wing compile, target, sim, sprint 10. Unknown symbol ID. Okay. Value. Yeah.
Nice.
Value ID.
Nice.
How didn't you catch this? Guys, you're walking there. How didn't you catch this?
The control room. Well, they're drinking.
Okay. So let's wing
Okay,
it.
now it compiles
yeah,
well.
let's wing it. Okay, great. So we have a bunch of stuff here, and it's well, as we mentioned before, we have to clean this, but very, very kind of easily. I've created an add task. I'm not going to run it right now. I'm going to create a test for it. So that's the second thing I'm going to do. I'm going to have a test section, and I'm going to check that it works. There's not a lot to check, but I'm going to do a new cloud.
Another cloud function.
Yep, cloud function. That's going to be the test one.
Nice.
As test add task, and like this, and then I'm going to do an in-flight str. Wait,
Okay.
and now I'm going to do that add task. Let's do this. Let's slow this thing. And now I'm going to do add task, invoke.
Okay, so you invoke the function that you created
Yeah,
before
yeah.
from here.
Yeah. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What's
Okay,
your
let's-
first
let-
task?
let's-
What's your
let's
first
do,
task? This is the first task. Okay, first
Yeah.
task. Okay.
Let's build Wing Beta
Ever.
and release it.
Okay, launch Wing
Just
Beta.
one
You want to do
task.
another one? You want to do another one?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do complete Wing Beta release. That's
Okay.
gonna be a nice day. Okay. So I'm going back here, and now I have another function, add task. Nice.
So wait, it
Automatically.
does
Yeah,
it.
automatically.
Ah,
I mean,
amazing,
this is all
amazing.
about the flow. We want to bring people
nice
back
job,
to flow.
Wing console
Yeah.
team.
And I'm going to give it no payload. I'm going to run it. I'm going to
Okay.
go to the cloud bucket. I mean,
It succeeded first.
Yes, right. And there's also kind of
the
about the
log.
titles. There's logs, and I can go
Nice.
to the cloud bucket. Nice save.
Bucket. Okay.
Oh,
Nice
nice.
one.
Bucket dot
Yeah.
put. That's
That's a nasty bug.
No, I mean, where are you?
Well, we wanted to give some,
Okay,
to make it more interesting.
Okay.
To see that the audience is listening. I'm sure we have a lot of live tweets about it.
You know why I have to do IDSTR here, Uri? Do you know why I have to do
We
it?
heard there's currently a limitation.
A limitation,
A
okay.
small
Not a bug,
limitation.
a limitation.
Well,
okay.
a limitation that we are happily living with.
Okay. So I can't call the counter.inc inside the string interpolation right now.
For now.
But it's a P1, maybe it's a P0. We
No,
just talked about
not
it's not a
P0,
P0.
not
The P1,
oh,
it's a
man.
P1.
If it was
Okay.
a P0, I wouldn't be standing here.
Where would you be standing?
Somewhere dark coding.
In the corner.
Coding.
No, if it's a P1 standing, we needs to stand in the corner. Great. Okay, maybe it's gonna work now. Any other suggestions
I'm
from the
sure
crowd?
it's gonna work.
Is it gonna work?
It's gonna work.
Okay. Send. Okay.
It's success.
Yeah, I succeeded before
succeed.
also.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 0 and 1. It's working.
You got 0 and 1.
We got 0 and 1. Yeah.
That's not P0, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's gonna be. We got this and Complete wing better release. Yes.
Nice.
So kind of a decade. Let's move forward a decade in time, and let's jump to this app, which is basically the same thing. That does the add task, the get task, the delete task, and the find task. Let's take a look at this code right now. This is all kind of new release today code, available by Mark.
Freshly written.
Freshly written. So we have a bucket list returns a list of strings, a list of IDs, and then the file names, and then we can get the task content. We found it. We can compare stuff. Oh my God, we can do an if statement to compare
Amazing.
stuff. It's actually a software.
It is a language.
Yeah, of course, but there's no async calls. That's what you're saying. So this is a good example. So this is an async function. This is good. This is an async function. But we're developing in the cloud. So what isn't an ASIC function? This is the idea is
everything, almost everything.
I mean, you have to. The language has to be written for an ASIC rule.
This is the more common case. We have to know that the rare case is where we don't want async calls.
Yeah, maybe the common case will also if it's not going to call async. That's another. So they have.
You can't have it all.
Yeah, I can't have it
right?
all. And we don't have so I have to do like return not found. But these are the tests.
We do have throw.
Oh, we do have throws.
We do have throw. That's recently added by the mighty SEP.
Okay, and SEP also added asserts. So we have asserts in the language. So all our tests basically have an assert. And if we look at this test, which is called find task by content, it's basically print test find. It takes the value. It enters a lot of more items, but it has to be. So
it adds a few tasks.
Yes. And then basically it find the task by this name. He wants to find this task, and then he found the task with ID expected value. Does it work? And then we're gonna let's.
And it asserts that. So if it's not gonna equal the expected idea, then it's gonna crash. It's
gonna fail
miserably.
We're gonna show it.
Okay.
I think. Now
Still,
will compile.
Compiler error.
Yeah, I don't. Let's do this for a second. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, so we have a lot of things here. This is not optimized. Not ready for. But it's about to be. It's part of the work that we're doing for beta. And now let's start with adding task. Not because that's what I want to do, because that's what I tested before. So we have
that works.
We have success true and we have response, and we can. Oh no! I want to use the test add task. So I'm going to add those things, and then I success true, and then we have the find task by content. And as we can see here, maybe we can see. We can see here that found task with ID expected 15, and the function call succeeded. If we go to the bucket, we have a lot of tasks here. And then we can go to the delete all tasks, which is basically this thing. Delete all task goes over the bucket list and delete all the tasks.
Nice.
And then if we run this thing, we go send. It's basically deleted all the tasks. And if we go back to the bucket, it's empty. So and this is working. So
nice.
Great job.
Nice, man.
Great job to the team.
And we're gonna have this example available, right? So folks can actually take it and try it and play with it a little bit. So that's available on our RFC folder. We're gonna send the link on Slack on general.
Got it. Awesome. So again, thanks for the team. This was an amazing job.
Yes.
And
thank you so much for the team.
great. Uri, thank you for being here. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
We're probably gonna have. I think we're gonna have other people from the States coming next week, right? In 2 weeks?
Right. They're coming next week. We're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is live from Tel Aviv. We got the team coming to Israel.
From everywhere. From
everywhere,
Spain,
from Spain,
of course.
from the United States, of course. And we're probably going to see them in the show probably in 2 weeks. Right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you for
Thank you so much.
Let's continue with a little bit of that catchy kind of pop song that Mark had. So we can.
Oh.
How are you doing?
Very
Nice
good,
to-
very good.
Yeah.
The task list is amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be even more amazing. I mean, once we have resources, I mean, I'm psyched. I mean, I kind of feel like resources and bring any JSII stuff together will unlock basically
It's really interesting to see how like at this stage, every step we're doing, every commit almost is like just opening up like
a world of possibilities.
a world of possibilities. Now
yeah.
you can actually write if statements.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 2 more weeks, right?
What?
Next
2 hours, yeah. I see we have some interesting comments. We have from Mike the Man Alive. He basically talks about why did I add a as task list, which is kind of people coming from the CDK should probably know that every resource has a scope and the name and ID. So, and why I was adding this, I don't have to edit because right now when you look at the code, I have only one cloud function. But if I have 2 cloud functions, then we don't want this to. I mean, cloud function maybe we can. I don't know if we care, but for something like a bucket, if we have 2 buckets, we don't want to do this by their order. Can we talk a little bit about the IDs?
I think it's actually a pretty.
Let me get close to you so people can hear it.
I think we can go very deep, like philosophically. Do you want to go deep philosophically or stay
We
at
don't
the
have time.
practical level?
I mean, let's start with kind of the surface area, just for people to kind of maybe we should at a different time.
I think
it's a good discussion.
It's a really interesting
once
topic.
we have time for it.
When we have time. But I think at the surface level, every resource here, and I think that's something that's worth mentioning, like this entire task list can be deployed to the cloud, deployed to AWS right now. And there is going to be like a bucket and a bunch of Lambda functions, and they're going to be calling each other. And we should actually try and do it and see if it works. Not now. But the thing is, like each one of those resources has a physical address in the world. And as we iterate on these applications, every time we synthesize the Terraform configuration, we need to make sure that the same ID of the resource stays consistent across these executions. And so these IDs are basically the logical IDs, the logical IDs that are mapped by Terraform or CloudFormation or Kubernetes or whatever provisioning engine into the physical IDs. So that's why they need to be. We need an ID for every resource, right?
And I think Mike, the Man Alive, he's basically why shouldn't it be just the name of the
variable,
which is an option.
That's a great question.
That's a good option. What we're feeling is that we want you to be able to refactor this code. Changing the name of the variable is something that we want to allow you. But then there's some options. If you do this, maybe we should warn you, and then you should make it a change. We haven't figured this out, kind of the right ergonomics for that specific thing.
I mean, in the CDK, these IDs are explicit and required everywhere.
In the CDK, the scope is explicit and required, and
the ID is
explicit.
explicit. And here, both of them, by default, can be omitted. And this has been something that I've been, kind of like obsessing about probably in the last 6 years, is trying to figure out the right ergonomics for this construct programming model. And we're experimenting here. I think like this is it's an interesting experiment. It's definitely for getting started. It's like lower cognitive load, right? Like you need to understand less. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing, right? Like I think like that's the question that we're asking ourselves. We'll see.
I can see how tooling can really help you with this and make this kind of transparent again.
Yeah,
who knows?
I'm not gonna go into like generating IDs with the ID.
With the ID.
Feels
not seeing them. Don't generate them. I don't want to see them. They should be transparent. Let's figure this out. Okay, so we have that question, and I see that Adam Adam also replied. Thanks Adam. And it is repetitive. I mean, right now when I did a task was repetitive. You have to understand that in my real software, I can't put things in scope right now. So things would be in scope, so there would be less repetition because things will be part of a resource, things like that.
And I think that we can also, because we're building a language, we can experiment with some different syntaxes for these use cases. I think the examples that you showed around testing that's definitely something that we want first-class support for.
Right.
I'm not saying necessarily like syntax level support, but maybe, right? Like maybe in order to write these tests, you just say test blah, and you open brackets, and you write your test here, right? And that becomes a cloud function with this ID of type test of whatever, right? So that's the beauty of having full control over the experience, because we can realize what these patterns, repeating patterns are, and figure out the right syntax for them.
Awesome. Okay. So just kind of change. I want to make sure I understand this change. Yeah, just change this.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And if we do this for 2 lines, then it's the same one, and then that's a problem. Of course, it needs to be a compilation problem. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
But this is going to happen during compilation at the end,
Yeah.
because pre-flight is a compilation step.
Right. Awesome. Great. So so you came, both of you,
As a surprise.
as a surprise.
I dragged Chai.
Things went too smoothly for you so far, so we decided.
So what was part? What is that? The surprise? Is that the surprises? Am I getting a full show? I mean, is this budget up or is this going up?
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
We're done. Okay, so
It's the last task.
What do you guys want to talk about?
We thought maybe we can go over some pull requests.
Awesome. So let's go over.
Or whatever, right? If there are any questions or topics.
Any
Okay.
questions?
So let's see what. Okay. No, it's the same thing. Great. So this is kind of we're inside wing, and we take a look at the pull request, and this is kind of a snapshot of what we are working right now, what we started working a little bit neglected. It's a good snapshot of
our life.
Yeah.
So, but we have to say it's missing the console, right? I mean, you don't see stuff from the console
Right.
here. Great.
But I think 12 is a great number. I mean, it means that we don't start working on things,
Yeah.
we don't neglect them too much.
I agree. But I thought the joke would be fun.
No, but I think what's the last one here? Like the most neglected one. This is mine, obviously, all the time, every time.
Okay.
But it's a work in progress, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's allowed to be neglected.
So this is also yours. You kind of jumped on it today. The immutable values, capturing immutable values.
I feel like this is a really cool feature.
What it allows us to do.
So basically, like if you looked at the playground, if I had x equals 5 here, and I would create a cloud function. This is horrible. We need to fix this.
What, the syntax here?
The string.
Yeah, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's, yeah. So if I did this.
Yep, print x.
Okay. Basically, I expect this cloud function to print the number 5.
Yep.
And that's actually a very magical thing, because
Yep.
consider this to be, for example, something that you read from some file that contains like a lot of information that's related to your application, or a static website.
Yep. Yep.
Some asset.
Some asset.
And so any immutable piece of data is technically something that we can bundle into the in-flight code.
Yep.
Right? Because it's static data. So in the basic primitives of that is being able to capture numbers and strings and booleans and durations and immutable arrays, immutable sets, and immutable maps.
Yep.
So these are the types that we're allowed, the
resources.
data. And resources. And we've seen resources, resource.
It's a different discussion.
It's a different conversation. So I feel like this. So this is this PR. This is and we can. Where is it?
Maybe it's over here.
Yeah, we can dive into it.
Yeah,
And
let's
see
do a
the-
code review.
I mean, who's going to do the color?
I'm happy to go through it, but maybe we can go through these and then decide if we want
awesome. And this is add string API by Mark, you see, which is kind of the string API. So the string API, it's part of something that we just added, right? And it's part of the kind of how did he call it? Baby generics.
Baby generics.
in a way.
Standard types.
Yeah, so what is that? Can you talk a little bit about that? String API.
We two people came. No one can.
No one?
No, let's
Yeah.
really find out.
Yeah.
Or we call Uli back here.
I think if you go to the beginning, you can see the example, right?
Okay, awesome. So this is good. So we have examples test valid.
So after this is added,
Yeah.
this should work,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So basically string
the API
the
for
API
string,
for strings. So we can do split. Oh my god, I can do split. That's what it means. That's great. We can do include. Great. And we have length. Oh, length. I know I have it. I think I've used this.
Yeah.
Ah,
No. So the way this works is
no.
basically what Mark did last week is add what we call the standard types.
The standard type.
And this is actually just placeholder type information for the compiler.
Great.
So you can see that string has length and split
Great.
and includes, and all of these basically don't do anything. They're abstract.
Yeah, they're not implemented here.
Because the actual implementation is the backing JavaScript.
Yeah.
And so all you have to do in order to define the APIs for these standard types is create these basically type definitions.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, the compiler just reads them into the type system and forwards all those calls into JavaScript. This is really powerful.
Awesome.
Yeah. You're awesome, Mark.
Yep, thank you, Mark. And now we have a dog food pull request monitor application. So one of the things we wanted to do, this is on me.
I never understand how you title these pull requests. This is something that we should. Dog food pull request.
So that's the name of the application. And I never noticed how weird it is until I see it now because the application, the dog food application.
Pull request monitor.
Yeah, it's a pull request monitor application. So it's, I can see the confusion. So it's basically.
Now I understand.
Yeah, so basically we want to do a dog, part of our beta. I mean, we had a discussion about this. We want to know that we're not releasing something that basically is not working. And the only way to make sure something is working is to actually try to see it working. So we want to have a production application for us in production that we maintain, that we work on, that we debug. So we want for the beta. So we started thinking about dog fooding, wing. And what would be the application? A pull request monitor application. So what a great name for a pull request. So this is the app, and it's again.
So maybe put it in, you can put quotes.
I'm not going to fix this right now.
It's too much.
It's too much. Okay, and then we have bring TypeScript, which is we wanna be
just to mention, this is an RFC, right? So this is basically what Uri showed earlier. It's the story that we will use to plan.
Yeah. This is even before the story, just the application.
Oh, this is actually
even before the story. Yeah. And
Another RFC by Elad.
This bring TypeScript. What's that?
No, you should tell them.
Yeah, the bring discussion, the TypeScript, untyped.
Yeah. So basically, as everyone knows, adopting a new language is a pretty big thing, and one of the hardest things about adopting a new language is the lack of an ecosystem. So we want our developers to be able to have an ecosystem that they can already use with Wing that is not being built from scratch. And so like we're compiling to JavaScript and Terraform, so it just makes sense that our developers could use TypeScript and JavaScript inside Wing code. And so the first step of this interoperability is to be able to, like you remember, we have bring as our import keyword basically. So bring TypeScript means that we can import TypeScript packages into Wing code and interact with them. And then, so once we do that, life is awesome.
Yeah.
But you know that why we're building a language, obviously some people say, so why don't you just extend TypeScript? And so if it were that easy to just extend TypeScript to support everything in TypeScript, maybe we would have done it, but it's not that easy. And so if we import TypeScript into our Wing code, we have a problem, right? Because we have one type system that's TypeScript, and it's much larger than Wing's. Then we have Wing with a smaller, but what we believe is more precise type system for the cloud. And and then
He's walking on eggshells.
No, wait, this is. I'm basically I'm
As I
saying
described-
him walking over there. Saying, should I join or should I not
Should I get myself into this?
you should cut.
So basically,
Why am I saying this? Why am I saying this?
Yeah.
Why you're saying about it is walking on eggshells? I think first of all, the wire language thing is a big story for us. This is something. I mean, everybody here is adapting
It's
to
an
it.
ethos already.
Yeah, everybody. Here, I mean, everybody kind of. We have a relationship with that question. I have a relationship with that question. The one thing I have with that question, first of all, I see the magic in doing like this. I don't have all the chains, and now I can really solve the problem. I know the problem. I know the problem of cloud application. I also I haven't used kind of serverless a lot, but I've done a lot of refactoring at big applications, so I know what value for software to be soft. So we can change it and kind of, so I understand, and I want to see what's the best tool. I think I love that, the fact that we're selecting to look for the best tool to solve this problem.
Yeah.
The other
And that's
part,
the reason.
Yeah.
That's basically
Yeah.
our mission, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
it's not about the
Right.
language.
Yeah, it's about bringing back the flow.
Exactly.
I mean, you want to change stuff. You want it tested. You want everything to work. You don't need to talk to anyone in order to write your application. It's a great collaborative way. The other side of this, we also have the SDK and the console, which together there's crazy power in the SDK and the console together, and they can be delivered in different. I mean, we can do this in TypeScript. There's a lot of values there, and it's easier to bring it into market. We don't have to. I mean, to kind of go into people and say, "Oh my God, wire language." I mean, we have so it's just something that we're talking about, and it's a relationship with that question.
Yeah, but let's sidestep that for a while. So
Yeah.
basically, we want to be able to bring TypeScript into our code.
We're pragmatic. We
Yeah.
want the ecosystem of TypeScript. We want to be able to bring this with the types, right? That's where we want to. We want to. Yeah.
That's the
Because
like,
bringing it with running JavaScript, we don't have. There's nothing interesting to do
Yeah.
there for
Yeah.
us because
Yeah.
we're compiling to JavaScript.
Right.
So it's interesting to look into
Yeah.
what it does mean to bring a TypeScript library into the Wing type system.
Yeah.
And it's one of those problems where I always say it's like it's going to be a pragmatic solution. Right?
Yep.
It's not going to be magic. It's not going to be, completely supersetting the TypeScript type system. It's going to be a pragmatic solution that we hope is going to give people a great experience.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to.
Yeah.
I love those problems. I think
Yeah,
those are the real problems of the world.
So basically, you can still be strongly typed, but maybe for some use cases or some types that we bring in, they won't be strongly typed.
Yeah, I think the initial direction that I'm taking, I always think about these problems in layers. Okay, so I'm always trying to say, okay, what's the lowest layer of the solution that has the broadest capabilities, right? Like that has the minimal constraints, and so that's actually a pretty simple solution. It's basically creating a bindings library.
Yep.
Which is a very common thing to do when you're interoping. You know, when you're interoping with Rust, you're creating Rust bindings for
JNI.
received or JNI
Yep.
or Node JIP or
Yep.
whatever, right? Like creating when you're interoping with another ecosystem, it's actually pretty common to need to create bindings for them. And so this is the base layer, right? Like it's basically a binding layer that translates one type system to another type system in a sense. And then we're thinking, what can we automate there, right? Like how can we automate the generation of those bindings? And we'll see where we can get. I think it's going to be also an evolution.
Yeah. So this is you can check it out. So open, of course, the RFC, the request for comments. And by the way, the other side of have to remind the people, you can also write your in-flight code in TypeScript. You will be able to do this and then connect. But you're going to pay a toll, a user experience toll probably, that will only be achieved if you're going to use Wing. But because it's a language, everybody can implement what they want. It's an open ecosystem. People can just extend it with SDK stuff, and they can do it.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not just TypeScript. You can write your in-flight code
Go,
with
Python,
in any language, and you can even, if you use the CDK, you can even export
Yep.
entire resources written in Wing.
Right.
You can export them and then you can use them.
You will be able to.
You will be able to.
Yeah, will be.
Yeah.
I think we're in this
Yeah.
really interesting status of the. I did want to mention one more thing about the runtime, is that I think that there are many use cases for Wing applications to execute in-flight code that runs in different languages, right? Or like specialized languages that are great in certain things, like Python for data engineering and R for data.
Rust for performance.
And Rust for performance, or Go for whatever. Or Java for legacy code, and and I think like it's like obviously if you have like a pipeline and one piece of the pipeline is a data processing action that takes in data, processes and puts it somewhere, then that's completely legitimate to build it with you can build it with any language you want.
Right.
And so we think that Wing is going to be very powerful and very useful for all your code that integrates with the cloud closely.
Yeah.
This is where Wing is going to be the best experience, we think.
Got it.
But it's also going to be a great experience to bridge over to other runtimes, because the cloud can just run them.
Of course. So let's, I'm moving forward a little bit. We have an example. So this is an in-memory search that Chris added. It's basically is an example. You want to add to the example. We have, this is actually a community contribution. There's some back and forth there, but I think it's working on, I mean, the guy was on vacation.
Exactly.
So we're going to have line numbers, which is awesome. This is a huge one. This is using Terraform resources. It's
an RFC.
It's RFC. It's kind of remind me of, it's kind of in the area of bring TypeScript, but it's actually bringing something from Terraform itself. I mean, KTF.
And also using them in a simulator.
Yeah, right. Also using them in the simulator.
That's going to be the hard.
Yeah. And then we have kind of a brother of this, the external resource epic. All kind of will converge to kind of bring JSII to begin with, JSII model to begin with. And then we got this one I was looking for, the SDK specification. Is that the RFC for the SDK?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is Uri mentioned this before. This is the spec, basically our SDK. And it's not going to be finished. This pull request is not going to finish it, but we're going to put the landmark and we're going to reach for that in the beta. I think that's good.
This is where Chris is leading this.
Yeah.
And this is where the discussion about can we abstract the cloud? What's the API? How does that look? How does what's the functional piece? What's the non-functional piece? What's the common patterns in our SDK for event-driven development? So super interesting. Lots of really great discussions and at the heart, in the sense of
this is the heart. Yeah, right. This is the heart of our abstraction. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vital. Thanks, guys.